My name is Milanfar, and I'm a trial attorney at Milanfar Law Firm PC, and we handle personal injury, police brutality, and nursing home abuse cases. Basically, it was a case where our client was essentially assaulted and battered by a security guard, and he suffered a pretty significant traumatic brain injury as a result of it. One of the main obstacles was that we weren't involved with the case from the beginning, and it wasn't worked up properly. So we were basically undoing some mistakes that had occurred by two other firms, and that was a major obstacle in terms of how we were trying to present this case. In addition to that, our client had suffered orbital fractures in his eye, and their expert indicated that the force never went into his brain. Basically, in every traumatic brain injury case, one of the biggest obstacles is that most people who are injured report to the emergency room that they did not lose consciousness. And that's something the defense comes in and says, well, your client never lost consciousness, therefore they didn't suffer a traumatic brain injury. When in reality, that's not true. Fortunately, we were able to obtain video footage of him knocked out on the ground and use that footage in order to show that what they were advancing was inaccurate. But that's where the animation comes in. That's important, is that the animation shows what happens when that force hits the skull and how that impacts the brain with the coup-counter-coup phenomenon of the brain actually bouncing back and forth between the front of the skull and the back of the skull or its sides. We had neurologists, neuropsychologists, vocational rehab experts, and life care planners who were involved, and obviously a security expert who testified. That was also instrumental in essentially building the case of why what the security guard did was not appropriate and how that resulted in a pretty significant traumatic brain injury. Your team did a great job of creating an accurate animation, creating and putting details in that were important, and also making sure that our experts agreed that the animation was in fact something that they could stand behind. The work that we did in the animations really helped essentially provide the finality that we needed for our client.